often tap into their own experiences when they write, and that's just what our next guest did. Journeys is the first poetry book written by Dr. Barry Zaret, who draws from his Jewish heritage, his life as a cardiologist, and from his intense sorrows and joys. Dr. Zaret served as Chief of Cardiology at Yale University School of Medicine for 27 years. Currently, he is the Robert W. Berliner Emerit. What's the word again, Doctor?
Emeritus.
There you go, Professor of Medicine and Senior Research Scientist at Yale. Doctor, thank you so much for being here. So you don't always think that poetry and doctors kind of go hand in hand, but this is your first book here. And when did you start writing?
Well, Teresa, I happened to look back at my high school yearbook and found 2 poems in there that I had written and also illustrated with pen and ink drawings.
Oh, so this wasn't the first time.
Oh, no, and I've published a number of poems individually in magazines and journals over the past 7 or 8 years.
Okay, and the name of the book is Journeys, and we're talking about your life journeys.
Correct.
Tell us about some of the chapters.
Well, the book is divided into several sections. The first is called A Jewish Life, which relates to my Jewish life and the experiences that I've had in that context. Second section is called Doctoring, a third called In the Land of Cancer, describing the events surrounding my wife's terminal illness, and she died 2 years ago. A fourth chapter follows that and is called And Beyond, with a number of poems that deal with the return, or partial return at least, to normality. And a final section is called Berkshires, and many of these poems relate to nature. We have a second home in the Berkshires and spend time there.
So we're learning about your life and your experiences through poetry.
Correct.
All right, we have some time if you don't mind sharing some of them with us.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start off the doctoring years.
Right. The first poem I will read is called 42 Years, and it was written about 4 years ago.
Okay.
42 years I've been called doctor, 6 letters defining me as much as husband, father, son. First as new intern, so eager, so fearful, dressed in white pants and jacket, stiff with yesterday's starch. Now professor's name is stitched on my soft white lab coat, draped on stooping shoulders as I stride the boundaries of my hospital domain. I've cared for patients in the same clinic for more than 3 decades. Some have been with me almost as long. Many have grown frail, others are no longer here. We age together. I wear them around my neck like a long string of pearls, each self-contained, a lesson of illness, healing, or death, each a reminder of a privileged state, my 6-letter name. They've kept me whole over decades in the lab and at the desk. I still pain when they fail, and I feel the rush of interns' joy when they recover. A bit surprising after 42 years. If ever the feelings cease, I'll nestle my stethoscope in the desk's lower drawer, and with some remorse begin reading the many books that have been waiting a lifetime for me.
It's very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it really gives us a background of your profession. The next chapter in the book you mention about Jewish life.
Right.
And we're going to hear Teach Me.
Right. Teach Me was written in 2007 in honor of my good friend and Rabbi Richard Eisenberg, who at that time decided to step down from the pulpit and pursue some other professional activities. The title Teach Me comes from the fact that rabbi actually means teacher.
Okay.
Teach me to open old doors to new places and new doors to old questions. Teach me to be a tree with few branches but many roots, unmoved by the wind. Teach me to be a rabbi. Teach me to comfort each time I stand before a hole in the earth soon to be filled. Teach me to rejoice each time I stand beneath the canopy joining 2 souls. Teach me to be a rabbi. Teach me to always answer whatever time, though my body aches and my head is full. Teach me to soothe those whom time has forgotten and to be patient with those who forget the long time before them. Teach me to be a rabbi. Teach me to remember the day is short, the task is great. Teach me to follow the straight path, not to fear the surrounding woods. Teach me not to ignore a new light, inside or out, heralding a new future. And if I follow, above all, teach me always to be a rabbi.
Life lessons right there. And the last one we're going to hear is In the Land of Cancer, which talks about your wife, an experience you shared with your wife.
Right. Well, there are many poems in this section dealing with the variety of emotions that you feel when you're with a spouse who you know is going to die. This one is called Moments of Reprieve. Sometime soon, who knows how long, I will wake and she will not be there. I will turn to an empty place still with pillow, but filled with life's absence. But this spring morning I awaken as she touches me. For a few minutes there is no future, no pain, no weekly treatment, no cancer destroying her bones. Only two people lost in each other with welcomed warmth and quiet passion. Brief moments of reprieve in the land of cancer.
Oh, that's very touching, Doctor. Before we wrap up, we do want to mention that you are also an artist. You did the cover, the artwork on the cover.
That's right.
And
yes.
what does it represent?
This is a road that is in Provence, France, in the south of France, and it leads from the town of Saint-Rémy to Arles, both very important in the life of both cities in the life of Vincent van Gogh.
All right, and where can we find the book?
The book can be obtained either from the publisher, Antrim House Books, online, or from Amazon.
Very good. Dr. Zaret, thank you so much for being here and for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we'll head over into the kitchen for a lesson in fruit carving when Style returns. Don't go anywhere.